So on today's Card Academy lesson, I'm going to show you guys a control that I really do enjoy using and doing. It's a very simple one. It's something that I've covered on the channel before, but it's something that I think definitely warrants looking at again, just because of its similarities to another control and its ability to not only control cards to the top, but to certain positions from the top. So it's a very strong control. So obviously you guys are going to get the behind the scenes view here. So you're going to see exactly how it's done. But it's a very simple control, and all that we're going to do here is that we're going to bring essentially the drop switch and a variation of the James Ellis loading move, which if you guys remember, it's this sort of action over here where we are just pushing that card supposedly in a deck, but really we've dropped this card as we've pushed it up. So we're going to combine those two similar ideas to a switch using a spread. Now I have talked about this before, as I mentioned earlier, but I do want to emphasize that this is definitely one of my favorite options because it stays in the spread condition. So you have the spectator touch any card they want. Let's say they touch this one over here. Now here's what we're going to prepare for the actual switch itself. What we're going to do is we're going to sight one card here. We're going to square these cards up briefly, and we're going to get a break above the card that's directly above the one they touched. So in this case, I'm going to leave this card face up. They touch the four of hearts. I'm going to square up above the four of hearts. So right now I have a break above the card that is above the one they touched. So in this case, they touch the four of hearts. I get a break right there, right above that card, and I'm going to lift up all these cards as I show the four of hearts supposedly to the spectator. You got to remember, they're going to be seeing this right here. They're going to be seeing that particular situation. So now when you push this card into the deck and come back down, it looks like nothing has changed. It's a beautiful switch. It's a very nice retention of vision switch here. So you're showing them the situation, you're pushing this into the deck, and now once you come back down and you push this card off of your thumb, there's absolutely no doubt that this is the same exact card you showed them when really it's a different card altogether. So now at this point, if you want, you could spread these cards in your right hand. You could take this very clean apparent four of hearts, shove it in the middle of this, score it up, give this to the spectator to shuffle depending on the trick, or just place these cards on top, and you have that card controlled directly to the top of the deck. Very nice simple action there. Again, all we're doing is whatever card they touch, we're just getting a break above the card that's above that one. So in this case, we're getting a break right there. We're lifting up these as we reiterate to the spectator one last time. That action, by the way, takes place in no less than a fraction of a second here. So they touch whichever card they want. That one right there, perfect. Go ahead, why don't you take a look at that card, sir? Perfect. Score it up into the deck. We'll put that inside of here, and that card is lost somewhere in the middle. Really, it's on top. So if you're going to do this from a stand-up position, then you are going to do the exact same action here. We're going to square it up like this, have the card touch. Now in this case, if you want, you could spread these cards with one hand, place this in the middle, riffle these cards down, place this half in the middle, and now that card is on top. So let's keep that card face up so I could show you exactly what's going on here. That card is there. We're squaring the cards up, getting a break, showing it to the spectators. We push it into the deck. We're now doing a one-handed fan with the right-handed cards. We're putting this card, which they think is their card, really it's an X card, into the middle of the deck. That card is getting pushed in. We're riffling with our thumb, placing this half inside of this half, and now that controls this card to the top of the deck. So it's a very nice control, again done from a stand-up position. It's a very strong one too, because again the retention of vision is wonderful there. Now at this point, if you want, you could just spread these cards and do the same exact thing as before. The only difference is that if you spread the cards this way, now you're gonna have to pull down with your pinky to place these cards somewhere in the middle. Now of course the idea behind that is you want to keep that card on top of the deck, and you want to make sure that their card is controlled to the top and not just staying in the middle, because that would be pointless. But what I like about this control is that you don't necessarily have to get the card directly to the top of the deck. You could get the card second, third, fourth. You could get the card in whatever position you want realistically, as long as you control those many cards on top. So remember that you're going to be eliminating one of those cards. So in this case, if we want to get the card fourth from the top, we're going to need to get exactly 4 cards on top of the deck. So because remember, this card over here is going to be placed in the middle of the deck. So in this case, if we eyeball 4 cards on top of the deck and square it up, right there when we show the spectator, we now have the position where we could place this in the middle of the deck, place this on top, and their card is not controlled to the top, but it's controlled fourth from the top. So in this case, it's 1, 2, 3, and 4 from the top of the deck. In this case, the 9 of hearts. So if you want to control the card third, for example, square up the card. In this case, remember, you're eyeballing 3 cards on top of that one, getting a break. Now we're pushing it in, spreading these cards, or doing a one-handed fan, putting this in the middle, putting this in the middle of that, and now their card is controlled third to the top of the deck. Very, very nice little bit of an effect here. Let me keep that card face up just for the sake of explanation. In this case, let's say we're controlling a third from the top. We get a break underneath 3 cards there. Sorry, on top of 3 cards. As we square up the cards, place these cards aside, square this up. Remember, when I do this, I'm showing that card to the spectator. So I'm showing this card to the spectator when I'm lifting my hand like this. So I'm going to go push it down with my forefinger, place this card in the middle, place that in the middle of that, and now guess what? Their card is third from the top of the deck for whatever particular effect you want. You could do the biddle trick. You could do whatever trick requires that particular positioning. But as you can see, it's a control that allows you to get that card wherever it is that you want. So if you want, another thing you do with this particular control, if you want to have more economy of motion here, is we're going to spread the cards. We're going to have the card out jog just like before. Make sure that you don't out jog it too much because you don't want to spread your finger too wide. So in this case, you want to only out jog it. I would say a little bit less than half of its length, I think would be enough. So in this particular case, you could square the card up, getting a break above it. Now we're going to spread back to the card. Now here in this case, instead of lifting the cards up in biddle grip, what we're doing is that we are getting a break above that card just like before. We're going to spread to almost their card, but then when we get to our break, we're going to lift these cards up and show the spectator the card. So that's when we lift these cards up and show the spectator the card. So in this case, we're left with a nice messy spread over here. Their card apparently being placed in this half, and now we don't have to spread the cards because the cards are already spread. So that's just a nice little bit of a handling tip. If you want at this point, you could put this card here and you could actually pull this card to the back here if you need to control it to the bottom of the deck for whatever reason. But it's a very versatile control, and as you can see, it does have multiple handlings. If you want to do it like this, or if you want to do it like this, it has multiple handlings for you to do. And if you want to control it to the bottom, that's of course an option as well. So you have a very, very versatile and effective control in that spread sort of action. It's definitely one that I would say is in the category of things you need to learn, especially when learning Magic, because of its simplicity and its ability to get the card where you need to get it without a lot of work, without a lot of finger flicking, as a lot of the moves need these particular days. So thank you guys for being members of the Pigcake Card Academy, and I hope you learned something here, and I also hope to see you in the next one.